If you knew you couldn't fail, what dream would you go all in on? What's the number one thing you're procrastinating on that you know would change your life?
All right, welcome back to another episode of Sipping on Excellence with life coach Kenneth Johnson and yours truly, Dr. Leonel Hunt. Each and every episode, we'd like to give you guys just a little something to think about, something to discuss. We basically say the quiet parts out loud and hope that you guys take something from it and run with it in your own lives. And on that note, come get this medicine.
Get your medicine. And a sip of that medicine. Let's go,
Coach
let's
KJ. Let's talk, man.
Before you, you said you had something that you got to get off your chest. I want you to tell these people what you got to get off your chest.
Before we get to that,
what you got?
What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I am.
You good?
Fantastic, bro. Fantastic. I'm rolling on all cylinders.
You know, we talked about before how you ask people these questions and they're always like, well, you know. Damn that. We're doing good, man. We are doing good.
I always say 98% of the people don't care, and the other 2% are happy you got your problem. So you might as well figure that shit out.
Right. Because there's so many people that don't want to see you win.
No.
So something that just rubbed me wrong today, and it was brought up to my attention on IG by a plastic surgeon friend of mine. DEI is in the news, and this asshole, Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
So he made a statement that if there was a black woman surgeon, that he would feel that maybe DEI had a role in getting her in that spot. Mm-hmm. So it rubbed me wrong because then that means people like him, racist, misogynist, just dickheads. Y'all got to forgive me on this one today. Think that people like me got a seat not just at the table, but at the head of the table because of lowering. He said it's because standards were lowered to get somebody like me in positions that I've held for the last 20 years.
Huh.
I'm going to tell y'all like this. I'm going to look directly. That camera right there, is that me? Lowering standards don't make these hands work the way they work. Lowering standards won't save your life when you're on my operating room table. As a matter of fact, I had somebody once tell me, I told you this, an older white man came into my office and said, I chose you as my surgeon, not because of just all of your accolades, but because you're black. And I was like, huh? He's like, because I know what you had to go through to be able to sit here in front of me today, and I was like, yeah, I got to be better than my white male counterparts to be able to have a seat at this table and do what I do, just to be considered good enough.
Right.
So if you think coming to see somebody like me is a step down, maybe you ought to think that coming to see somebody like me in the position I'm in is actually a step up from the people who don't look like me because I had to work harder to get here. Hope y'all understand that. That's my 2 cents from this shit I heard today. Crazy, right?
Right. Right. And
it doesn't get under my skin because ignorance will never get under my skin, but there's people out there that will believe that ignorance.
Right.
So I need to clean that shit up.
So help people understand Who benefits most from DEI? Let's be honest.
White women.
Exactly. And they're following suit with their male counterparts saying this DEI thing.
Does DEI make you a better trainer? Does DEI make you a better coach? Are standards lowered? Do people come see you and be like, I'm going to give him a shot because he may not know as much as somebody else, but I'm going to give him a shot?
Right.
I gotta laugh. Make that shit make sense.
Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And everybody out there knows it doesn't make sense.
It never did.
But God forbid people like me bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's all of a sudden the N-word. DEI is the new N-word. And there are multiple studies out there that show diversity in healthcare creates better outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. Google, PubMed, and guess who did these studies? The white men shown that diversity is better for you in healthcare than non-diversity. So do your homework. Look it up.
No one
and
wants
realize
to do
people are
homework.
full of shit.
No one wants to do homework. The one thing that this podcast points out that no one wants to think for themselves. So we're forcing you with this show to make you start thinking.
Dude, we say the quiet part out loud. I say that all the time.
Yeah.
We say the quiet parts out loud, and if y'all don't like it, you're going to hear it anyway.
Ooh, I must be coming in some money. My palms was itching. Right. That's old school. Y'all know about that old school.
Right.
Ooh, my palms is itching.
But yeah, I mean, that's just, I have to laugh about it to use our platform to show the ignorance of others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to do. It's that simple.
Bro, we always winning.
Say that one more time, man.
We always be winning. Hashtag. We always be winning.
Right?
Now what?
Oh, man.
That's part of it too. Now what?
Today, right? So today we thought we'd, I want to shout her out. Tina Taylor Brown. She sent me this.
Okay.
My girl, my homie, my dog for the past 20-something years sent me this thing, and it was a list of 10 questions. And just shot it over to me. Didn't say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just shot it over to me and was like, yeah, what do you think? And immediately I was like, oh, we got to talk about this. And so Coach and I are going to fire these questions off at each other and kind of go through them, talk about them.
We'll fire them at you, but we're going to go back and forth with them.
Yeah, because this is going to give y'all some things to think about because you're going to see how we answer them. I have no idea what he's going to tell me. He has no idea what I'm going to tell him. We haven't talked about it.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to understand that this is coming straight from the heart. And it's one of those things like if you're old enough to remember Arsenio Hall, things that make you go, So things you may never think about, we about to make you think about them.
Mm-hmm.
You can go.
All right.
I'm scared.
Question number one. Question number one. If the next 1,000 days looked exactly like yesterday, would you be closer or further away from your dreams?
Depends on how you look at this question.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to tell you, I'd probably be further from my dreams. Why? Because every day shouldn't look like the day before.
Mm-hmm.
If the next 1,000 days looked like yesterday, then that means I've made no progress, which means I'm no closer to my dream. I mean, no closer than I am today.
Right.
How close am I today? Depends on the dream. Think about it. If people always say, I want to reach the mountaintop. I don't ever want to stop climbing.
We've talked about this a lot. So, yeah.
And so if in the next 1,000 days they looked exactly like it did yesterday, then I've done no climbing. I've gotten no better as a human being. I've gotten no better as a doctor. I'm still stuck in the past. And what does that mean for the present?
See
Nothing.
that's exactly what we're saying is these questions can be received in different ways
Yeah.
because I'll answer it differently
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah. And so and I'll let you get to that. And so if every day looked like yesterday, then the future will never exist. And so what does that mean? So now if I ask Coach this question, he may come up with something completely different. He may see it from a different light.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
What would your thoughts be on how did you first of all, how did you interpret this?
I interpret it as the actions that I might have taken yesterday. I interpret it as the habits, the thinking process on it. So
The work you put in?
the work I put in, and the work doesn't have to be the actionable work in that moment. It might have been I've done a little research. I've done some things that have helped me to take steps forward. So I'm applying those steps, and if I continue to apply those steps to go forward with whatever it is that dream is, and my dream, and if I'm as long as I'm going forward versus going backwards, if I'm not living in that headspace of, oh, why didn't I?
Yeah.
To me, that's going backwards. That's not, if I'm working on eliminating that sometimes sitting in those moments when you're by yourself, let's say it was Sunday.
Right.
If it was Sunday, you're not going to do that much. But if I'm mentally examining like, I'm doing the right things. I'm going in the right steps. How do I need to plan myself for the week? What habits do I need to work on this week? So I'm slowly but surely eliminating what is old, working toward what's new. So those steps that I have,
Right.
they may not have been monumental, but I can't get the word out.
They may not have been monumental.
Thank you. But
There's still steps forward.
there's steps forward.
So I could see how you interpret this in a light that basically says, you know what? If I'm taking steps, if I look at the steps I took yesterday towards progress, if for the next 1,000 days I take steps towards progress, I'm going to be closer to that dream.
Because each step is not the same step.
Right. It's not saying do the exact same thing.
Right.
You could say it looked exactly like yesterday, meaning that I'm taking steps daily. So yeah, you could spin it as positive or negative. And that's the good part about the human experience. You can take from it whatever you want and you can spin it however you want to fit the narrative of where you're sitting.
Right. But also the opportunity to listen to someone share what their narrative is. So you have an understanding like, I got that. Because what you said, I got that. I get that.
Being able to see somebody else's perspective.
Yeah.
I don't have to see it through your eyes. I just have to be able to say, okay, I get where you're coming from.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I got one for you.
All right.
Should I get him? Let's go.
I mean, we got the same questions.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what I'm asking next. I can skip.
Fine. Be that way.
We just check them off because you know how I took these pictures.
I sent them to you.
I took them first.
Your mama.
Your daddy.
Your bald-headed granny.
Why she got to be bald?
She probably is.
She wore a wig, but that ain't the point.
The things we said as kids, man.
Woohoo!
Yeah. We were winning back then.
Dude.
If you could play the dozens, you were winning.
You were absolutely winning. All right, let's go to this one. What's the biggest lie you tell yourself about why you aren't where you want to be?
The biggest lie. That the lie used to be I'm not enough. The biggest lie. I'm not enough. It was the perfectionism. It was the
What made you feel like you weren't enough?
oh, me. It wasn't anyone. It wasn't. To give a little bit background with myself, pretty simple. A lot of things came a little easy to me. Just kind of, I'll make it happen. Some people go, I'll make it happen.
Right.
I'll figure it out. I got this. No problem. That's how I spend my life. Then, right at that finite moment when that ex-wife and that problem
That stuff happened.
yes, and when all this stuff started compounding at one time,
Yeah.
my brain said, so I had to reestablish, like, oh, you don't know. Oh, you're not going to be successful. Or you don't have enough. You did not give her enough. You did not do this. Where are you in your life? What is going on?
Right.
You sleeping in your car.
You started to doubt yourself.
Oh, whew, bruh.
Well, I mean, and rightfully so, because you're like, the world came crumbling down
Quickly.
and you thought it was
Quote,
your
unquote.
fault. You thought it was all your fault.
Right. I learned, but what I learned through that process was ownership. I took ownership, but the biggest problem of when you take ownership of your wrongdoings and things you've done, one is you have to say that is not who you are. That is not your character. That doesn't ID you. That's
Right.
that's not on your driver's license. Asshole, here you go. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing is grace. You have to give yourself grace for those moments. You have to say, hey, shit happens. Let's go. Let's move forward. But I didn't do that. I was stuck. And I got stuck hard for a long time.
When'd you get out of that?
Shit. Always working through it.
So here's the question. I'm going to go back to it. You told me what the biggest lie was that you used to tell yourself.
Okay.
Now I'm going to ask you, what's the biggest lie that you tell yourself now why you aren't where you want to be?
I tell no lies. Stop telling lies.
You don't tell any lies anymore. Good answer. I'll tell you, when things used to not work for me, it was always somebody else's fault.
Really?
I'm not where I want to be because the man is holding me back. I didn't get this spot because somebody lied to me. I didn't do this. And all of these things were facts. But the ultimate reason why, if I'm not where I want to be or where I think I should be, regardless of all the outside factors, you saw the movie Wolverine when he had all the arrows shot at him, he's getting pulled back. You know what I'm talking about, right? With all of those, I forgot I'm talking to the movie king here. This dude watches everything. But in that scene and he's still fighting against him, I'll tell you, with all those things holding you back, it's still up to me to break free of those chains. So for me not being where I want to be, it's completely up to me. And I had to stop telling the lie to myself that it was always someone or something that was holding me back.
Okay.
And so now I don't lie to myself. I tell myself, oh, I'm not where I want to be in this particular thing. Why? Oh, because I've been procrastinating. Or, oh, I didn't do the work that I needed to do. Oh, I'm not as fit as I want to be. Why? Not because I don't have a good trainer. It's because I'm not putting in the work. Not because I can't eat right. I just am lazy. So all these different things. Whereas I used to be like, oh, it's the time, it's the job, it's all this stuff. No, it's not. It's me. I just got to make it work.
Yeah. And we've had a conversation about some people in our lives that do that right now. And so seeing it, you start to definitely 180 even harder because you're like, oh, I'm not going to be this person. oh my God.
Right.
And every time you see me,
Yeah, and so it's interesting, right?
yeah.
And so are they lies we tell ourselves or are they excuses? Because they all may be truths. They may be your truth, which means it's not really a lie. It's more of an excuse. Shit's happening to you,
Yeah.
but don't blame it for everything. Blame yourself, be accountable, and then get over that shit.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I feel good about that. Next.
Oh, yeah. If you knew you couldn't fail, what dream would you go all in on? I have to think about this because I'm still thinking about it.
If I knew I could not fail, what would I go all in on? I thought about this, and I couldn't come up with an answer, and here's why. Because I went all in, and I'm living my dream.
I'm laughing because there's not much you could say after that. And I'm thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
Exactly, right?
I remember, and I've told this story on our podcast before. I used to sell custom clothes, and I'm sitting across from my pastor, and he, at that time in the church that I belonged to in Atlanta, and this dude was 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", and he's just the nicest, the most jovial man. But he said, "Son, what is it that you want to do with yourself?" I said, I want to sell you some shirts. You know, I thought of that. I said, I want to sell you some shirts. And he said, "What is it that you really want to do?" And I said, "I think I'm very interested in personal training." And I swear to God, table maybe a little bit smaller than this. He reached across and his hand was like, E.T. me. Said, "That is your spiritual journey. That's your ministry. That's how you're going to change people's lives. It'll evolve into other things, but that's where you start." Do you know I lost my job selling clothes with that company on a Friday. I just finished my certification that weekend, turned it in, and I was in the gym the following week. And I was selling clothes on my own privately. Mm-hmm. So I was already gone. I'm in the gym. I've been winning ever since, bro.
I tell people all the time, man, and people on social media hear me say this all the time. I am living my life's purpose every single day. There is no dream I've ever had that is as fulfilling as the dream I'm living right now. This little black boy from Fort Pierce, Florida. I was standing in the operating room the other day. I'm like, somebody's paying me to do this shit. I'm like, look at what I'm doing. Mama, I made it. You know what I mean? It's like, look at what I'm doing every day.
Right.
The trust people put in me every single day. And when they wake up on the other side, I got a big bouquet of orchids today from a patient I operated on a couple weeks ago. Just thank you. And I'm like, that's the dream that nobody can y'all can't tell me shit different.
And if you want anything, he got more tequila than a little bit because everybody gives him tequila.
You can't.
Everyone gives him tequila.
Right?
The best of the best, too. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
you
what
can't.
we drinking, bro?
Yeah, you can't tell me that I'm not living the dream. Yeah. It doesn't have to be your dream. I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day, if you couldn't do this, what would you do? I don't know, because this is what I've always dreamt of doing. So if I couldn't do this, then you need to take me back to the womb and give me another dream. Because I'm living the one I was born to do. Mm-hmm. That's simple.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, I got one for you.
All right.
If a stranger studied your routine, what would they assume your priorities are?
If a stranger studied my routine, what would they think my priorities are? ABL.
I don't know what that is.
Always be learning.
Okay.
Always be learning. I take my time. Sometimes leading up to this moment, the analysis paralysis used to be a
grip on you.
He had a grip on me. But what's funny is, as I'm stepping away from that, I must have analyzed a lot of shit. Because guess what? Folks be like, immediately, somebody say something like, oh, well, you need to think about blah, 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 blah. They're like, wow, that was pretty profound.
So what's interesting is when you say always be learning, there are a lot of people that get stuck in the forever student phase.
Yeah.
Like I know people who will go get degree after degree after degree after certification after degree after licensing after degree and can't implement any of that shit. Why? Because it keeps them out of the real world and it keeps them from having to perform. They can study and take a test all day, but they don't know how to approach the real world. And that, my friend, is where the problem lies with people. And so what Coach is saying, always be learning, but make it learning on the job. So on the job training. I'm implementing as I'm learning.
Yeah.
I learn every day. I was saying how there are times when I work with residents and they'll show me something. Yeah. They'll show me something. I'm like, do that again? Where'd you learn that? Oh, Dr. So-and-so showed it to me, blah, blah, whatever.
Cool.
I'm going to write that down because you know what?
Duly noted.
It ain't copyrighted. It ain't patented. I'm using your shit. Seriously. And so I get that aspect of that routine. I would say for me, if somebody studied my routine, what would they assume my priority is? Organization. I have to be organized. Everything I do, I'm an engineer. And so it's got to be, I need steps A through Z. I don't need step A to G to Q. And if you look at my routine, I have a routine when it comes to certain things. And that routine doesn't break because when it comes to, and here's the funny part, I'm organized as shit when it comes to work. So that way my personal life doesn't have to be organized. I don't need it to be structured. My personal life, I don't need any. I just need it to, my personal life needs to just take it as it comes.
Right.
Because 90% of my life, I have to structure so that I can have a personal life.
Yeah.
And I don't want that structured. I need that to just do what it does.
Right. Like when we train, think about it, there's a kind of guided structure for the most part. Like when you come in, I have to know what's going on.
Yep.
What's going on in the head. I have a structure already created. And then it's like, okay.
It changes.
Yeah. It's forever evolving in those moments because I can't give you the cookie cutter down the line, A, B, C, D. Sometimes.
But notice what happens though. I never ask you, what are we doing today?
Nope.
I not once in all these years have I said, all right, what are we working on? Because that's not my control. Yeah. That's not my structure.
Yeah. But
tell me what I'm doing.
But mine?
Yeah.
How are we feeling today?
Yeah.
What's going on? That's with everyone across the board.
Right. And so then it's me saying, you know what? This isn't my forte. Handle it.
Yeah.
Get me through this and make sure I come out on the other side not all jacked up. But yeah, that's the thing that somebody would see as my priority. My priority is my organization and structure. And if they looked at my daily routine, I would say organization structure, all for the benefit of the people who are trusted in my care.
Mm-hmm.
Because my purpose is my patience and my profession, and all of the structure in my life revolves around my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if people who look at me from the outside and don't see that, then they don't know me. Or better yet, not even know me, then they just haven't met me.
Right. Right. All right. All right. Here we go.
On to the next. What you got for me?
Are the people around you pushing you forward or holding you back? This is going to be interesting because I think we'll probably be in the same place with this.
Most of the people around me, present company excluded, aren't pushing me forward. Here's the interesting thing. Most people I know think I do too much. Most people think I'm going to burn out or whatever it may be. Most people tell me, you need to slow down, you need a vacation, you need to do this. The only person in my world that understands my need to do more is my brother. Because he's running 100 miles an hour like I am. Everybody else wants me to dial it back because they think I need certain things without knowing I need certain things. And then there's people in my life, like my right hand, who doesn't push me forward, but she opens up the lane for me to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
She takes away the distractions, handles the business so I can go next, and not have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so nobody's a real anchor. Most are along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can carry a lot. And so I just carry and keep it moving. It doesn't slow me down.
Right.
Yeah. Now that I was thinking about that question, I was like, yeah, I don't know anybody in my life that slows me down. If I feel like you're slowing me down, I cut you off. I don't need anchors.
Yeah.
I need people who are going to help row the boat or just go along for the ride. I don't need you to weigh it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
I was thinking about that question a lot, and I don't necessarily know if there are a lot of people to push me forward or necessarily holding me back. I think people will cheer for you. I think they're cheering for me, but they're cheering like, what are you doing? Because they don't necessarily understand, or, you know, their logic and their thinking is not the same. It's not my balance, you know, especially in my life. And you probably understand this too because you work for yourself. A lot of people are job oriented. You know, they have the rigid.
They're task oriented.
They're task oriented. They're doers.
Yeah.
Some people are creators, some people are doers. You know, there's the front end and there's the back end.
Exactly.
And not everybody, that doesn't always necessarily mesh in the sense of they may not be able to do exactly what you're doing, but if you give them their tasks, if you're a creator, you can help them through that process. But a lot of times, what does that mean? That means I have to continue to create, and I have to be more their cheerleader than they would be mine.
And I would say, too, people like you and I don't necessarily need cheerleaders.
No.
Think about it. I think we don't look for people to push us forward. At least I know for me, I put myself in the room and surround myself with people who I think can add a little fuel to the fire to make my shit burn brighter.
Yeah.
Like, okay, somebody's got a skill set that's different from mine that I might be able to grab a little something from. And then I'm like, all right, let me put that lump of coal on the fire over here. give me a little turbo boost in the right direction. You may not even know you're pushing me in the right direction, but I'm taking that, lighten it up, taking that, lighten it up. But if you put yourself in a room and everybody's taking lumps of coal from you, your coal reserves are eventually going to get empty because nobody's giving you anything. They're taking it all from you. And so as you push forward, I always try to, I'm a give. But I can't always be the only person in the room giving and everybody's trying to take from me. So I try to put myself in rooms where people are either doing exactly what I'm doing at a higher level or a different level, whatever business it is that I'm looking at. Like with you, when you go to these round tables and everybody's successful at these tables, you're like, all right, I know that guy's successful in this avenue that I might want to explore. Let me see what I can listen to over here. You know, I was having a conversation the other day about somebody with crypto. And I was like, I don't know shit about crypto. I've dropped some money in it, but I don't know enough about it to want to take that jump. And so somebody's talking about it. Oh, let me listen. Why? I know a shit ton about spine surgery. I don't know a lot about crypto. That person knows a lot about crypto more than me. What you talking about today, dog? And start asking questions. Same thing over here. I don't know a lot about real estate. I know you put some money in, you get some money out. You know, buy a place, don't buy a place, whatever.
Right.
Somebody who's in that game, I'm going to listen and see what's what. In medicine, somebody's doing something different, innovative. I'm going to be like, why'd you do that? Where'd you learn that from? And I'll just see how you're nodding like this. That's what I'll do. All right, I'm listening. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with that information, but I'm listening. Because until I figure it out.
Always going to have an ear.
Yeah, and so I think, to me, it makes sense, right?
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
In the wrong goddamn room. All right. Ball's in my court.
Yes, sir.
If your 12-year-old self met you today, would they be proud or disappointed?
Proud. Absolutely proud.
What would you say they'd be most proud of?
Resilience. Your ability to, no matter what the circumstances are, push through. Whatever the circumstances are, whatever happened, whatever dark moments, whatever bright moments, finding and staying in your joy, no matter how hard it's been. You know, I always have this discussion about, people talk about being happy or sad and or disappointed. And it's like, my thing is always finding joy, because joy is something that nobody can take from you. Joy is when those highs of the highs come, you're right here. When the lows of the lows come, you're right here. You may not get out of it fast, but you're not worried about how fast you get out of it. You just worry about getting through it.
Right. I would say if my 12-year-old self met me today, 100% absolutely would be like, high five, dog. And the reason why I say that is because my 12-year-old self used to question, am I as smart as these cats? Can I make it? Am I going to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish? Do I deserve to be here? Fast forward, and the reason why is because when I was 12, that was the first time I got put into a public school gifted program. You know what I mean?
You know what that's like? Yes.
And I was like, oh, there's some smart motherfuckers here. There's some smart people up in this camp. And I was like, ooh, all right, step up. So I started stepping up. Yeah. And then take my 12-year-old self to me now, and all the things of, are you good enough? Are you smart enough? Are you all of this? Yeah, because most people aren't smart. And it's not about, am I book smart enough? Because there's always going to be somebody smarter than you. But am I life smart enough? Absolutely. And that, my friend, is what my 12-year-old self would be most proud of, that I became life smart.
Yeah. You're smart enough to know that you're not smart enough because you're always prepared to take in what's needed to win.
That part.
Was it Socrates that says he's not smart because he wanted to always be able to take in more information?
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
What was my go?
Let's yo go. Bring it.
I was like, oh, how many questions we got left?
Till we're done.
Right, we did that one. We did that one. Oh, well, I think we didn't do this. What's the number one thing you're procrastinating on I can't get my words out. Procrastinating on that you know would change your life. What's the number one thing you're procrastinating on that you know would change your life?
Love.
Speak on that.
I don't know that I'm procrastinating on it.
Okay.
I just think I haven't been open to it.
Mm.
I always thought as an excuse, I got too much shit to do to even be worried about it.
Okay.
And then seeing too many people who are unhappy, I'm like, why the hell would I want that shit?
Yeah.
But in the right hands with the right person, around the right people, there's no limits to where you can go.
Mm.
Something so powerful that can take you to the stratosphere can also take you to hell.
Mm.
And that is the part that makes you keep kicking that can down the road like, not yet, not yet, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
I don't know that I procrastinate on much else because I'm always so, let's go. But something so nebulous, so esoteric as that you can't put a finger on it and say, this is what this is, makes me say, do I want that? Am I ready for it? And so I keep kicking that can down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least this is probably the first time publicly to anyone that I've ever admitted it.
Ooh.
We ain't putting this one out. Y'all ain't. We gonna edit this out.
That's gonna go in the intro. That's the teaser.
Got hot in here. Is this air conditioning on? It got hot up in this camp. Are we?
Oh, I'll take it away from you. All right. What's the number one thing?
Yeah, what are you procrastinating on?
You know what? I am procrastinating on I can talk. See, the thing is, if I say right now,
The number one.
thing,
Or any one thing. Doesn't have to be
thing. I don't have anything, and I say that because everything has come in due time for me, and things of my past, the energy, the mindset, the struggles, everything that I've put off or pushed away, I've continued to work through. So I don't think there's a procrastination, because in those moments, I always say I'm right here, right now. And coming to this point where I am right now, things that others would say, well, you said and you're going to do, and then I'm like, yeah, but they didn't happen because that wasn't that time.
So let me ask you a question. A spin on that. Are you making life happen, or are you letting life happen?
I'm making life happen. Leading up to the things that happened, I was letting life happen. You know, we said that especially with, like, the old guy that used to come to the park. You know, it's like he's 100. But I was letting life happen. But I was letting life happen. Those procrastinations of that time has led me to my belief in myself now. Everything that's happened in those moments led to right now. So I can't say that I'm procrastinating on anything.
I will say, I think the problem with a lot of people, and probably 100% of people at some point in their life, they don't create the things that allow life to happen. They wait for life to happen to them.
Absolutely.
And then react to what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And life is so much better when you yourself create the narrative and you direct your own movie of your life, as opposed to showing up and letting others direct it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because then life is just happening to you,
Right.
not for you, not because of you.
Right.
And so that is where I think a lot of us lose our way, and then life just continues to happen. Good or bad, it just
Right.
continues to happen, and you're not creating shit.
Yeah. But what happens with that is most people sit in it versus understanding those moments and, one, owning it, and two, being able to work through it and saying, oh, okay, these are the things in my past that have created who I am, as opposed to, well, you know, it just is what it, you know, one of my favorite phrases. I hate when people say, it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is. No, it's not what it is. It's what you want it to be. And if you continue to say it is what it is, guess what? You ain't never going to have what you want it to be. Living in that past. So your life is procrastinated.
True.
Life altogether.
We all want to kick that can down the road, hoping that we still get tomorrow.
Right.
All right, I got one for you.
Fine.
Wow, getting so angry up in here.
Oh, are we done with these damn questions?
No. We said we were gonna knock them all out. Let's knock them
Okay.
all out. We only got a couple more. Have you been consistent enough to deserve the results you want?
Oh, no.
That right there, y'all, is being honest with yourself. If you've ever seen honesty right now, that's it.
No.
Anybody who says yes is lying to themselves,
Yeah.
because it's not the case for anyone.
I've been consistent with the old shit that's led me to be better now.
Right. And I think people will read this question and forget the word enough.
Yeah.
Have you been consistent? Yeah, you've been consistent, but have you been consistent enough?
Right.
I don't think none of us are consistent enough to deserve the results you want, because none of us have all the results we want.
Yeah.
You're constantly working for them. And we talk about this all the time. What do you deserve? You don't deserve shit. Right?
You don't deserve shit.
I mean, I think that in itself answers that question. You know what I mean? There's no, you said it perfect. No. And none of you should ever say yes to that question.
Please don't.
What we'll do to you guys, we'll put these questions in the write-up.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you can just go through them yourselves.
Mm-hmm. One less thing I have to do.
You know, what else we got? I think we got,
All right,
we got two more, right?
I think it's one more.
We got two. I see two.
Okay. What you got? All right. You probably got better eyes than me.
All right, I'll ask you this one.
Okay.
Are you making choices that future you will thank you for or regret?
They'll thank me. They'll thank me. And this is not me being woo-ha and hee-hee, and I know, I got it.
I'm glad you think it's funny.
Good old Siri.
Go Siri, jumping in on chiming in. You should ask Siri this question.
Right?
I think future me be thankful because just like the 12-year-old is proud of my resilience, the future me would be proud of my resilience as well. Like, dude, thank you. Whew, you took a lot off my back because I was nervous.
Well, this is all about living a life of no regrets.
Yes.
And the future, or should I say, the future me will thank me, I would say, for learning every lesson from every experience, whether there was a desired outcome that happened or not.
Yes.
I did a post on social media, on IG today, that talked about failure. And what I said was, the only instance of true failure is if you learned or if you didn't receive anything from it.
Yeah.
If, for example, I hear people say, like, for example, you got divorced. Your marriage didn't fail.
Right.
You just didn't have the outcome that was expected or that you desired. Not getting the desired outcome doesn't mean there's a failure.
Mm-hmm.
It just means you didn't get the desired outcome. Now, if you don't get that desired outcome, did you receive anything from it? You did. You learned more about yourself, more about the other person, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So people say, I went down this career path and it failed, so my career failed. No. It just wasn't for you, so you took another career, you did whatever. It's one of those things where my future self will thank me for those times when I hit home runs and will thank me for those times I struck out. Because both times I gained something from it and made me the person I am who became that future self.
It will thank you for the chinks in the armor.
Right.
Keeps us prepared for battle.
And so as you're going through things now, do you go through it thinking, if this doesn't work, I'm going to regret that I did it?
Right.
No. If I don't get the outcome I thought, what am I going to learn from what did I learn? What am I going to learn? You can't predict what you're going to learn from the experience. It's just when the experience is done, you can look back and say, oh shit, I learned this.
Right. All we're doing in life is just trying to bridge gaps. Just trying to make that gap a little closer. A little easy to get across.
I think people say they regret things because they want to go back in time and change things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have zero regrets of anything in my life that I've done or didn't do.
Yeah.
Because the things that I didn't accomplish, I know why, and I change me so I can accomplish them now.
They allow you to become a better version of yourself. That's right. That's right, Chief.
I was waiting for it. The whole damn show, I was waiting for it. I knew it was coming.
This year, Morton. You don't know about that.
No.
No.
I think we got one last one.
We got one last one.
What you got
If
for me?
someone else had all of your daily habits, would you bet on them to succeed?
No. Because they're not me.
That's what I was thinking.
I would say they probably have a lot of keys to help unlock doors for them to succeed, but they still got to do all the shit to walk through the door and become successful. And my daily habits are my daily habits. You can't take what I do and try to make it fit your narrative. Mm-hmm. You have to come up with your own daily habits to make it fit your narrative to propel you forward. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This shit makes sense to me.
And look, I ain't got nothing to say to that one.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same page. He answered that for both of us.
We on the same page.
Because, habits are habits. And they're my habits. And, like, my habits won't fit yours, vice versa. It is what it is,
Man, this is a good conversation.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. the thing that he hates the most.
That's why I had to throw it in there.
Man, this good conversation. Hopefully it gave you guys some food for thought. Take these questions. Here's the interesting thing is have this conversation with your friends.
Right.
Have this conversation with your significant other, whoever, because you'd be surprised what you learn about somebody just by having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
More critical thinking. More critical
Yes.
thinking. Start asking questions. Start listening. People don't want to listen. They hear which is going in throughout the other.
Yes.
I want you to listen. Take it in.
Have the tough conversations. You guys, thank you as always for joining us on this journey. Need you guys to like, subscribe, hit that little button, and
It's important. It is important.
set up notifications so you know when the new podcast comes out. We have every other week a new podcast comes out. The live is going to be on the alternate weeks on IG. Go check us out. Coach KJ, where they going to find you, man?
They're going to find me at Coach KJ Knows on Instagram and CoachKJ.com. Come hit me up. Let's get a little confidence. Let's get a little life. Let's get through this imposter. Let's get it going. And let's build a better life.
You're going to find me at Leonel Hunt on IG. You're going to find me at huntspine.com. Go check out the huntfoundation.org, doing big things over there. Everything Coach and Doc at what is it? podcastsoe.com. There's so many .coms in my brain.
I know.
Podcastsoe.com. IG for the podcast is going to be SOE_podcast. On any of these platforms, send us questions, concerns, thoughts, topics you want to hear. Follow it all, like it all, and we're going to keep coming at you each and every week with something new. Hope you guys like it, and we out.
I hope you love it. Out.